Yo, what is up, everybody? It's me, That One Weep, here back with a brand new episode. That being the finale part, the final part to season 1 of ReZero for What If Subaru was Sukuna's vessel. Now, for those of you who are clicking on this video because of my insane thumbnail game and and have never seen any other parts and are new to the series, this is the finale, like I mentioned, so you might want to go up here at the top upper right hand corner. I got a playlist created just for you to go and watch all the previous parts so you can catch up and get back to where we are now. Anyway, I stream like pretty much every Friday, art streams. Make sure to go check those out. For those of you who didn't know, figured I'd talk about those because, you know, that's coming out because I took a 2-week break because of holidays. Aside from that, I got my second channel coming soon. I'll be doing more VTuber like stuff there. Drawing and animations. Like I said, I do art streams on here every Friday. I'm hopefully gonna be able to start drawing / animating stuff pretty soon in the next couple months. My goal for my second channel is to try and hit 10K on the second channel in this year, which is gonna be really hard because it's gonna be a completely new format. I'm not doing what ifs on this channel. So for those of you who are interested in me, you know, make sure to go check out Zonkyo. It's in my channel's description. It'll also be in the pinned comment down below. And yeah, let's get into this. The final part, what you all came here for, of What If Subaru was Sukuna's vessel.
You know, Subaru, darling, I would have been moderately fine if it was any other woman. Emilia, Crush, Priscilla, but Felix, I didn't think you had those sort of desires.
But you said I could love anyone I wanted!
I was under the impression it was another woman, not someone dressed like one.
I try to look past what's between the legs. It's the inside that counts, am I right?
Dick, Subaru! I will not let my left be beaten just because you want to fulfill your sick fantasies!
But cat boys, Rem! Cat boys!
But it does not matter. If you want to have your pleasure in that way, I can help you in that department instead. Bend over.
Rem! No! What are you doing? No! Not there! Why aren't you even looming it up? Oh my god!
So, yeah, this ending of last part you guys may have been wondering about is completely canon. Yeah, that's in. That's a real thing. That's how spicy this series is, okay? That's how insane, how corrected Fortnite this series is, okay? You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? What I am saying is that Subaru and Sukuna had their asshole resized. With this, the cycle relapses. And they're sent back to the beginning of the loop, with pretty much everything playing out up to the point where it's Subaru and Rem again. Now, some of you might be wondering, why is Subaru actually proceeding with trying to get to this point? Well, this point is the turning point of the story, right? Like, this is where Subaru makes the decision that turns out to be either the best, or he'll have to restart the loop again. So it'll be turning out either of those results. Now, as I mentioned, the I hate myself speech is something that you guys really liked last part, and it's one of my favorite things I've ever done, which sounds so ironic. But anyway, Subaru, you might be wondering, why would he say this again? Wouldn't it be disgenuine? What's going on? Because that was some raw emotions, and Rem's response is effectively the same. Now, why Subaru did this is because Subaru himself wanted to respond to Rem earnestly. Last time, what happened was Sukuna took control and basically ruined what he was going to say. He interrupted, and Subaru wants a do-over. Sukuna tries to take over again. This time, Subaru is prepared for it and just is like, nah, we're not going for this again. Sukuna curses his cat boy, cat girl fetish still being one of his key character traits in this series, after Subaru had converted him to an otaku all those years ago. Anyway, we're back to where we were at the end of the last part. With Rem confessing her feelings to Subaru, Subaru finally is able to answer. Something he'd wanted to get off his chest since he had heard Rem say that in the last run. Something that Sukuna had stopped. Subaru would take a deep breath in as he finally breaks off the act, telling Rem that he's in love with her too. Rem would actually be surprised, having expected him to say that he loved Emilia. She would ask Subaru again, asking if he's really sure, Subaru confirming once more. As Sukuna would even be surprised by this. What, your taste changed from elf girls or something? Subaru would smile as he thinks about all the memories that he's made with both Emilia and Rem. Subaru would then say, Rem, I love both you and Emilia. But I know from everything that I've been through that Emilia can never love me like that. From what I did in the royal capital, I don't know if she could even forgive me, much less love me. She's a great girl. Emilia tries her hardest at everything, but we would see memories of Rem with her and Subaru talking about demonic inspiration. Subaru and Rem both having this inner demon, something that Emilia wouldn't understand. Rem having her entire family been slaughtered, under Roswell's orders, of course, with her having been the reason her sister lost her demon horn, her power. Rem was a mistake. People in the village hated her. There was nothing she could do about it. When Oni were a sign of weakness, a sign of death. And Subaru understood that. Subaru himself was weak. So weak. The only reason that Subaru could do anything, the only reason he had any power was thanks to Sukuna. Sukuna is the only reason that Subaru is even relevant, that he can even hope to try and save Emilia from the events at the mansion, that they can try anything, that Subaru can fight the white whale. Without Sukuna, he's just powerless. Subaru is reliant on the power of the death of his friend, his childhood friend, his sacrifice that summoned those spirits, the finger of Sukuna that Subaru was forced to consume, that Subaru became a demon himself. Rem and Subaru would kiss, with Rem understanding how Subaru truly feels, and this time, they wouldn't be running away. Subaru would then tell Rem that he does love her, and that he wants to be with her, but they have to save everyone at the mansion. Her sister, Master Roswell, and Emilia. In Subaru's mind, he tells Sukuna, I guess you win on our little debate. I think that demon girls are better anyway. Look at you changing your tune. Well, with the amount of change you're going through, maybe soon you'll be on my side and we'll both ditch this one and go after a cat girl. Yeah, that's not happening. Anyway, I'd now like to take the time to just express my happiness that somewhere in this universe there is a Rem x Subaru version of the world that I created. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I'm waiting for. That's all about. Woo! Anyway, sorry about that. But for real, I already did Emilia and Naruto in my What If Naruto's in ReZero. Make sure to go check that out in the top up right hand corner if you haven't already. It's kind of a fire series. It's all completed, and all the way to the end of season 2 even. But back to the season, to actually get to the finale. Subaru knows about the white whale and where it's going to be, and he can handle it by himself. He's done it before. His problem is that once he kills the white whale, he's so low on cursed energy that he's not able to fight off the witch cultists. And this is where he needs help. He doesn't think that Rem could be able to take the white whale alone. And just the two of them would probably be able to take the white whale down, but he doesn't know if Rem can handle the witch cult with him at like half or less strength. And another thing that's not touched upon that I didn't mention explicitly is that the white whale has a single of Sukuna's fingers inside of it. And it's still there because last time while he did kill it before and he ate the finger and consumed it, it doesn't permanently stay. Sukuna is able to be reset by return by death, because his incomplete form is less powerful than Satella. And so when Subaru died and the system reset, the white whale was returned to its former glory and power, meaning that the finger has been de-digested, if that makes any sense. So it's not so much affecting Subaru as much as it affects Sukuna, which is why it doesn't stay, which some of you might have been wondering about, and there you go. Anyway, Subaru begins to form a plan with Rem, now able to fully talk to her. Rem just being kind of blown away that she actually won. She had not been expecting that at all. And let's just say, it's gonna be wholesome. It's gonna be wholesome. Anyway, Rem would then come up with an idea of Subaru asking that maybe they should talk to Crush and Wilhelm, with them doing so much like how they did in the original, this time with Rem pushing Subaru to talk to them and see if they could help the Emilia camp. Subaru would offer his plea, as he then says that he has some information in exchange for assistance in military power. Crush would be skeptical of this until Subaru then says that he knows exactly when and where the white whale will appear, which catches Wilhelm and Crush's attention. That being one of the great beasts, something that they've been after for a long time now and have been forming resources and military support for. How can you prove that? Subaru would look up saying, well, how about this? If I'm wrong, then you can kill me. Seriously, what point do I have to lie to you guys? I'm the one who needs your help. And in a way, don't you need mine? It's not like you're going to find it without me. Subaru would have his deal. Wilhelm now asking after they agree to it where it is. Subaru would explain it's on the highway going past Flugel's tree. Crush says that he better not be lying or she'll follow through on his promise. Subaru would nod, Rem being worried, with Subaru telling her don't worry. He's incredibly confident in his plan. And also if he gets killed, he'll get reset. Basically either way he wins. But hey, it's not like he's not going to put up a fight, because now that Rem knows how he feels, he's trying to keep this reality. He doesn't want to have to go through that again, because every time he does, he knows it'll become more and more disgenuine. Anyway. Right, back to the plot. So, Crush, Felix, who Sukuna is commenting about the entire ride there. You know, Subaru, if we can't find any cat girls, then I suppose cat boys will have to do. So, Sukuna, you're getting to a new point of degeneracy. No, Subaru-chan. It's called culture. Subaru begins to think about the way that he spent his life previously before he was sent here. You know, maybe I'm the one who's the demon inside Sukuna. I mean, just he's so fruity. Anyway, Crush and the entire gang would head out, going to the location that Subaru describes, heading directly to the same path where Subaru himself prior had gone and battled the white whale. After waiting for what felt like hours, Crush should be beginning to get annoyed. Subaru, where is the white whale? You said it would be here. We've been waiting for almost half an hour. Subaru would look back at Crush saying, have patience, it'll be here soon. Subaru looking down, wondering, how much longer is it gonna be? Seemingly, almost as if on cue, the moment that Subaru thinks this, suddenly a large echo could be heard, wallowing across the entire land. Wilhelm would know this sound well. It's here. Crush-sama. And thus, the battle would begin. The white whale comes soaring in, fog beginning to pour around it, a symbol of the great beast. Subaru would be trying to conserve his power, hoping that they could deal with most of this, with Wilhelm now jumping into the fray. Rem blasting ice at it using Alhuma. Crush and Wilhelm will be trying their best to take down the white whale, but it's just too strong. What's going on? Subaru would be thinking. Something Subaru doesn't know is that the white whale is now a mixture between cursed energy and the magic of ReZero. And little to say, cursed energy is way more effective against it now. That's why Subaru could take it out so much easier in the last run. But here, even magic isn't doing too much to it. Its fur coat still disabling magic particles that are surrounding it. Its fur all bristled-like. I can't even manage to scratch it, I'll be thinking. Crush would then say all forces attack, as they would go charging in, screaming a battle cry, blasting magic, arrows, whatever they could at it, until trying to get it to the ground. Nothing would even affect it. Subaru would stand up, as magic seems to be the only thing currently attacking and working against it. Julius would even be using spirits, which would be damaging more than everything else, because spirit arts counter cursed energy, but he's just one guy, and his spirit arts aren't even strong enough to take down a beast of this power level. Alright, Sukuna. Subaru would then pound his fist into his hand, as he then charges some cursed energy across his fists. Wilhelm would turn, as Subaru then holds his hand out. Give me your sword. His first reaction would be to say no. As he turns though, he would see a steely look in Subaru's eyes, something he hadn't seen before. I'm gonna finish it in one blow. What? That's crazy! You couldn't do that. None of us are even to scratching it, much less taking it to the ground. Subaru would smile as he says, well, just watch and learn then. Brat. Fine. Wilhelm would throw the sword to Subaru, saying, this better be worth it. Subaru would grab the sword as he charges cursed energy through the blade over it. I picked up one of Sukuna's techniques. Cleave. Subaru would rip forward faster than Rem or anyone else can react, Crush seeing the wind burst around him using her wind reading. What? His energy levels just shot up. Subaru would leap off the ground. Everyone around would be terrified and shocked, seeing the crater formed from his impact, as Subaru then wields the blade, pulling it back as he stares to the white whale, looking right in its eye. For once, Subaru and Sukuna would say something in perfect unison. My power is far greater than yours. Subaru would use Cleave as he slashes down a single clean strike, almost an air of red opening, ripping through the air as everyone can see it. That's how potent this cursed energy is, as he slices directly through the white whale in a single strike. The whale would screech as it falls to the ground in half. The whale now began to try and regenerate itself, as two more whales appear from above. Willem, catch! Subaru would throw the blade as it spins, Willem grabbing the blade out of midair, catching it with the metal now making a vibrating sound as it stops its motion. Willem would then slide his hand across the blade, smearing the blood of the whale off as he rushes forward, beginning to slash at the whale. In order to beat that witch cultist, I'm going to need another one of Sukuna's fingers. And there's one right here. Subaru would then dive his hand using his nails as he expands them using cursed energy and ripping through the whale's flesh as he rips directly towards the strongest point of cursed energy, pulling the finger out and throwing it into his mouth, chomping down. As black marks begin to cover his body, reacting to the consumption of another finger. Subaru then opening his eyes as he has 4 eyes, before he then manages to take back control, silencing Sukuna once more. Subaru had used about half of his cursed energy in that single strike, but luckily for him, he had counted on that. When he consumed the other finger, it had enough power to restore him back to his previous strength and then some, giving him more than enough power to defeat Betelgeuse. Crush, Julius, and Wilhelm would be the main striking force along with Rem's assistance, taking down the other 2 whales as they fade off into fog, the white whale officially being killed without having to sacrifice the tree of Flugel, like what they had to do in the original. The battle is over, Crush officially taking victory for her side, with her thanking Subaru for his contribution to the battle. Wilhelm being impressed with his sword strike, wondering how he managed to get such a powerful strike with so little movement. Subaru having conducted a black flash, like what he had in previous timelines, while using Cleave, something that Subaru himself didn't know if he could accomplish, but luckily, he was able to. For those of you who know about Jujutsu Kaisen, the Black Flash is something that amplifies one's strength by 10-fold or even higher. Needless to say, it was more than enough power to take down a single-fingered white whale. But now here's where the hard part comes. Rem, Subaru, and the rest will now have to go and fight the witch cultists as part of Crush's agreement at Roswell's estate. Subaru, first things first, had to go and talk to Julius, as he then grabs him from the shoulder, Julius turning, as he feels himself sweating. Julius would be afraid. Subaru would then tell Julius saying, hey, I'm sorry about what happened at the Capitol. I went way too far. Julius would gulp, as his nightly presence was the only thing keeping him really not from running away, after the beating that Subaru had given him at the Capitol. Julius would turn to Subaru coughing as he then covers his mouth saying, I don't know if I can forgive you, but it means a lot that you'd say that. I heavily underestimated you, he would say. Yeah, people tend to do that, Subaru would say, with Julius gulping, having seen Subaru basically one-shot one of the 3 most powerful beasts in all of ReZero. Julius would sort of forgive Subaru for the beating that he had given to Julius at the Capitol. He understood why Julius couldn't quite forgive him. Anyway, Julius, Subaru, as well as the other forces Crush would have given off to Subaru, would then continue on their journey with horses and carriage, moving towards Roswell's estate. Subaru would let them know everything he can, saying he can't explain why it's going to be this way, but let's just say it's one of my abilities to see the future. Which, after seeing him one-shot the white whale, no one's really surprised at this point, so they go along with it more willingly than you'd expect. Anyway, they would then listen to Subaru with him explaining how there'll be witch cultists waiting and that they have to get there before the village is slaughtered, saying that if they're too late then the villagers will suffer, Emilia will die, and the end of the world will arrive. Anyway, Subaru would cough, saying, once we get there, there'll be witch cultists surrounding the carriages. We can slaughter them first, but our biggest worry is Betelgeuse, the witch archbishop. When in my dream, when I saw him die, he he was able to transfer his soul or his consciousness into another body. So we have to be prepared for that. I don't know how he does it either. Maybe it's similar to what Sukuna's fingers do when I consume them, though. Interesting. Subaru wouldn't say that part aloud, of course. The forces will be ready. As they arrive into the Roswell estate, Rem squeezing Subaru's hand as he turns looking back to her. What's wrong? Rem would smile as she looks down, thinking, as she then says to Subaru, whispering to his ear, that she's really happy that everyone gets to see how amazing he is, like how she sees him. Subaru would look away, blushing, as he turns back, saying he's not amazing. Rem would curl around his arm as she then puts her head on his shoulder, saying she thinks he is. The Subaru she knows is a hero. A hero, huh? Subaru would think. They would arrive in the Roswell estate, as witch cultists begin to appear surrounding the carriages. They would take no time to waste attack, as they then begin to attack and dismantle the witch's forces, with Betelgeuse being notified as soon as possible from his own forces that people had arrived entering the domain. No, this is no good. She didn't say anything of that was happening. I didn't know. And Betelgeuse goes into a breakdown like usual. Betelgeuse then eventually rushing out of the cavern where Subaru and Rem were tortured last time. Accompanying him would be the witch cultists as they proceed to attack Subaru's group. Subaru turned, reacting as Rem is about to get stabbed, with Subaru grasping the blade out of midair of two hands. Rem then pulling out the mason chain as she throws the ball forward, destroying the witch cultists and two others behind it with a curved attack. Rem began to say, "I'll shoot," before Subaru places his finger on her lips, stopping the spell, as Subaru turns to her, saying she needs to conserve her mana. The witch cultists run from behind, trying to strike Subaru, who would simply flick his wrist as he turns, throwing a punch with cursed energy, sending it flying back and into the tree, impaling itself on a tree limb. Now, the witch cultist being dispatched. Rem would nod, now understanding what Subaru was saying, to conserve her energy. Crush's allies, along with Subaru, would continue pushing their way through Roswell's domain, the villagers not knowing what's going on as Subaru explains the situation to them, Rem by him confirming this. As they continue working their way up through the domain, eventually, finally meeting him, running into Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse! Subaru would say, black marks beginning to form over his face, his eyes slightly turning to a tinge of red, remembering what he had done to Rem. Remember what he had done to him. Julius would attack, under Subaru's instruction, using spirit arts, which are effective against cursed energy. Immediately as Betelgeuse is blocked and hit from attacks, he begins screeching as he begins to use the invisible hands, which Subaru can see. Subaru would use a blade, as he slashes at the hands, covering them with cursed energy, ripping through them easily. Betelgeuse would be surprised, saying, "You can see them?" As Subaru says, "I can see a lot of things. Like your death." Subaru would run forward as he slashes at Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse blocking using the unseen hands as he gets moved back, scratching his neck. "This is impossible. This is impossible. This is impossible." Subaru would then tell him as he then rushes forward before Betelgeuse can say another word. "That's because I have returned by death." The entire air began to be covered in black smoke as time begins to slow down. But Betelgeuse would be able to see it. He'd be able to see her, as the Witch of Envy would appear behind Subaru, her eyes filled with light, as a purple magical energy would be surrounding her body, covering her in smoke. "At last! At last! At last! At last!" Betelgeuse would say, with his crackhead-like speech, as he then runs forward, trying to reach her, to grasp her, the one true love that Betelgeuse always speaks of. Subaru would whisper, "Domain expansion," as Satella and Betelgeuse would be summoned to his domain. This would be using all of his cursed energy and probably make him bedridden for weeks. But no matter what soul transfer technique Betelgeuse uses, he'll be trapped forever. Satella will finish him off. Subaru would effectively kill Betelgeuse, as Betelgeuse looks into the abyss, Sukuna's face appearing out of the darkness as it chomps down at him, with him crawling, scratching on the ground, water flipping through his fingers, as he reaches towards Satella, who turns away, disappearing back into her realm, disappointed, hoping it was her love, the one person she loved, as she wraps her arms around Subaru, him feeling a cold tingle on his heart. Betelgeuse would turn, seeing the demonic form of Sukuna, as Sukuna says he'll be able to spend all of eternity with him. This time, with the expansion of the domain, that being the domain of Subaru, there would be two posts. This time there would be two posts, one red and one blue, that would begin to construct itself as we see it. A torii, a red gate, something that you would typically see in Japan back where Subaru was from. One post to be red just as normal, the other blue, the same color as Rem's hair. In the middle would have a white connecting the two. Rem, Ram, and Emilia, the three people in Subaru's life who had the most impact on him in this world. As Subaru says goodbye to Betelgeuse forever, the unseen hands leaving Betelgeuse, as Subaru would absorb his first witch factor. Subaru returned from his domain expansion, Betelgeuse being sealed away as he dies, the day being saved. Subaru would hold his fist up, turning back to Rem, as Rem would run forward just in time to catch him as he begins to slump over, having used that same technique that he had used before, the same one that had caused him to become bedridden for days, the one that he had used to stop and save her. Rem would kiss Subaru over and over as he's fading into unconsciousness. Something neither Rem nor Subaru know is that Emilia had arrived on the scene after hearing all the battle. Her and Ram and Roswell were there, as Subaru fades off into unconsciousness. Little does Subaru know that there are two more Sin Archbishops waiting. The Sin Archbishop of Gluttony, Lie, and worst, the Sin Archbishop of Greed, Regulus Corneus, the man who's going to make Subaru's life a living hell. If you guys enjoyed the finale part for Season 1 of What If Subaru Was Sukuna's Vessel, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this from me. I'll be trying to post more videos more often. It's been kind of rough, I'm sure you guys know from both me, Zether, Izu, and all the other What If YouTubers out there that we've been slowing down slightly because of, beginning of the year, new semesters, school stuff, and all that. But nevertheless, we must push on, and so I'll be posting more videos. I'll probably be taking a break from this series for a while since this is a good ending point for now. I have plans for this series to go somewhat into the light novel, so I have to read some as well, more than I have already and than what I know, because this path will be very different considering that it's following the sloth path of Rem and Subaru, which is pretty awesome, but it's not quite following in that we aren't going to have him running away and abandoning Emilia, as you guys just watched. Anyway, for those of you who are still here, please consider subscribing to my second channel, Zonkyo. I'll be trying to make more videos on there, and different videos as well. And if you stayed this long, you probably enjoy me, or my voice at the very least, so I hope you guys can go check me out on there. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys with my next video. Hopefully I'll be posting 4 parts to Warlock Naruto in the next couple days, in pretty much in order, so hope you guys are looking forward to that. If not, I'll be getting back to What If Asta Was Melis's son, which is another one people have been looking forward to, and I'll be getting to the end of the Elf arc with that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye everybody.